Good evening, everybody. Good evening. All right, I think we're live now. We're up and getting ready to go. My name is Nate the Lawyer. Welcome to the show. Let me see how many people we got watching. I haven't even checked it out. 129 people. Not bad. It's funny. I didn't expect there to even be like maybe more than 100 people here because we are just talking about US soccer. Johnny Depp's taking over everything. So if you're not talking about Johnny Depp nowadays, your numbers are really pedestrian. So, but I owed it to you guys because most of you guys have sat here through the trials and tribulations of the U.S. soccer story, and now we're at the end. I think we're officially at the end of the U.S. soccer story, which is which is in a way it's good, and in a way it's not so good, because it's kind of like it's the end of an era. You know what I mean? Um, it's funny. I A lot of people will always ask me, how come, how was it able to get into this U.S. soccer issue or how to get involved in it? um, I'll just be honest. I remember first reading the story, and I believed the narrative. I believe the narrative. I believe that the women's team was being unfairly treated when I first heard the story, because I had just heard news media reports. I really didn't do any deep background, so you're just looking at the story and you're just reading it. And when I went through it, I was like, oh wow, they've won all this stuff. Now getting equal pay. It's a shame. Hopefully they win. Then the court made that devastating ruling that essentially called them out and threw out their lawsuit. So at that time, I just started the YouTube channel, and so I remember I had read through the case, and I was like, wow. And I was really upset, not at the US soccer team. I was upset at the mainstream media. I was like, damn, they fooled me hard, because after I read through that ruling, I was like, there's no way that they could have won this. It's obvious. It's obvious, what the facts are here. And that's what I'm going to show you tonight. I'm going to show you the facts. So I did a quick video about it, and it got like 2,000 views. Nobody watched it, but it was cool. It was cool. I enjoyed it. And I thought it was a very detailed video. I had a then again, this was early in my YouTube career, so I had a video blow up. And that was a Breonna Taylor video. It was a pretty big video for me. It was my first 400,000 view video, so it blew up like a bomb. And I was extremely happy with that video. Got me a whole bunch of subscribers. But another video blew up with that one as well, and that was U.S. soccer. So the U.S. soccer video I'd done, it had got 2,000 views, and it went up to like 10,000 views or something like that. It went up to some huge number. So I was like, well, it seems like these people who like me talking about this police stuff and this legal stuff like U.S. soccer. So I redid that video, and I remember I sent it to Viva. Most of you who've been with the channel some time know Viva Free. I call him Free, but it's Farai. But anyway, everybody knows Viva. So I told Viva, I was like, I'm gonna do this US soccer video again because I think people like it. So he told me, do you really want to do it? Like he kind of already covered it. It's really, the story's kind of done. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cover that story one more time. So I redid the video, new visuals and all that stuff, rewrote the script. Said that Viva's the first person to watch that video. That US soccer video, Viva, um, he is the first person to watch that video. And I remember what he said. He said, it was a good video, but he says the information I already know. I sent it out to the world, and that video got 700,000 views. I was like, oh, great. People love that video. Then I forgot who told me, but one of the guys told me, like, your thumbnail on that video sucks. Change the thumbnail, you'll probably do better. I changed the thumbnail. That video is now sitting there with 4.3 million views. My best video ever, right? Ever, best video ever. And that video did so well because of one thing. Because it just told the truth. It just literally just gave you the facts of the case, right? No spin, no nothing. Here are the facts. You deal with it. And that's why that video did so well. And I think that's why this channel does what it does, because it's just like, I don't care what your feelings are, right? You can tell me anything. You can tell me whatever, but the facts are what they are, right? We can't really change that. And if your argument is with the facts, then they're not with me. And a lot of times you'll see that here. A lot of people start arguing with the facts, but that's their problem, not my problem. Let me say what's up. Let me say what's up to my people in the chat. What's going on? Long-term USA soccer will not be able to afford both teams at the cost unless more money comes in. Yeah. Oh my God, you don't know how bad this is. This is it's pretty bad. Well, I'm gonna put, just so everybody also knows too what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna put together a quick 10-15 minute video about, just one of those quick explainer videos. Those usually do well, and everybody will get it quickly. This is just good. This is for me to, if anybody has questions, I can ask your questions, and I really just go through the material so you guys can see exactly what I'm thinking, and now you guys can get from an actual source of what's actually happening right now and how does it actually work out in the bigger picture. So let's talk about what's just happened. But I don't want this to be a standalone video, right? So I'm going to take you on a little journey. We're going to talk about kind of where we started at, how we got here, what all this means. So if you really want to know like what happened and what does this settlement mean and how the men's national team is now giving up millions of dollars. Just to be clear, the men's national team is forfeiting millions of dollars of their earned money to the women's team. That's essentially what this deal is. If you want to wait to the end and understand how I'm getting there, but I'm letting you know, as of right now, the men's national team has just said we're going to give up millions of dollars to the women's team. Just carte blanche, you got it. The women's team get to keep all their benefits. The only thing the women's team lost was guaranteed money. They're on a pay to play schedule now anyway, so they're on a pay to play schedule. But the men's team essentially gave up half their cash and said it's yours. So we'll talk about it and we'll get there. And without them doing that, deal couldn't have happened. So you know, it's either you're going to appreciate the men's team for doing something like that, for saying we're going to give up. It's about $17 million we're talking about. We're going to give up $17 million to the women's team, and millions more. And some other instances, and the women's team don't have to give anything back. Right? There's no money that's going to be going back the other way. But you know, let's get into the details of this. Let me see if I have any super chats I got to answer. Oh, no, no, no. Let me just look through the chat real quick. All right, here we go. So, first, let's start with I want to start you guys off with some news coverage. Let's see how the news media is covering the story, because that's the angle that this story started with. It's always started with the news media. That's the reason why I initially first covered this story. So let me show you how the news media is covering the story as of today. What's come out? We'll see if it's got any. Let's see if there's any spin with it. Here we go.
Collective bargaining agreement. Every player, man or woman, will be paid equally.
It's equalization of World Cup prize money, identical financial terms, including identical game payments, identical revenue sharing for both teams. So identical in every aspect on that front.
They will also equally share any money U.S. soccer makes commercially and at events. Defender Becky Sauerbrunn has been in the fight for equal pay from the beginning.
There has been a lot of frustration. Is that over?
I mean, it's tough to get so excited about something that we really should have had all along.
She and 4 teammates filed a federal wage complaint in 2016, telling Today at the time,
the pay disparity between the men and women is just too large.
In 2019, more women joined the push. 28 players filed a lawsuit against U.S. soccer. It was settled earlier this year, awarding the women with $22 million in back pay. Megan Rapinoe celebrating that victory on Today.
I'm just so proud of the way we stuck together and really just kind of put our foot down. This is a huge win for us.
With this new agreement, U.S. soccer will now do something no other soccer federation in the world does. World Cup prize money will be pooled between the men and women's teams and split equally among all players. The men's World Cup winner in 2018, France, received $38 million. The U.S. women only took home $4 million for their win the next
year. Now, this is the part I think, I want you guys, I'm stopping it here because I want you guys to start thinking about this while we look through this stuff, right? You got to start thinking about this while we look through this. The winner of the Men's World Cup got $38 million. The winner of the Women's World Cup got $4 million. So we're going to take the $38 million and the 4 million, right? And put it together and split that 42 million, right? 38 plus 4 is 42, and split it 50-50. That's what the men are giving up. That's what the men are giving up. So it's like, remember, just like, and they're talking about just imagine that. I'm going to make 38 million bucks, and you're going to make my money, and you make 4 million. We put it together. You're 4. No. 4 million is too low. That's not even 10%. That's about what? A little bit more than 10% of what I made. I'm going to put it together and split it. But you've only made 4. What does that sound like? What does that sound like, guys?
Year.
It does mean that the men are giving up a little bit of money, though, potentially, right?
Not potentially, for sure. And I think we need to give the men a lot of credit.
So you see? You see? You think, a lot of people think, like, listen, Nate don't know what he's talking about. But they're telling you right here. Yeah, the men are giving up millions of dollars. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they just got it like that. Maybe the men's team got it like that. But they just gave up millions of dollars. For sure. For sure. She said no. No. They're giving that. Yeah. They're the ones who took the hit on this one.
Came to the table and were very collaborative and worked together with the women's PA first, and then came together with U.S. Soccer.
They hope this landmark agreement sends a strong message.
But I think this is going to have international ramifications in sport in general, and hopefully into the business world as well.
So that's the news media covering the story. Yes, the news media covering the story. So, again, people, am I crazy or am I a lunatic? I don't know. The men's team just woke up and said, "Yo, we want to give the women millions of dollars." Even though we know they don't make that, they don't, essentially, the men's team is going to pay the women's team triple what they can make winning the Women's World Cup. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let me take down some of these super chats. Michael Thomas says, "So glad I caught you live. Love your content. Totally unrelated, but I've always wondered your normal area of practice. Just a personal curiosity." Right. I do criminal defense. I was a couple of my cases hit the newspaper, so I was in the New York Times for my last. Well, no, it was the one before my last one, but yeah. So one of my pro bono criminal defense cases, and right now, to be honest with you, I'm just doing a lot of civil stuff. I'm done some housing stuff, and I'm doing some just civil litigation, defamation actually. So, but that's where I'm at now. So, I still do criminal defense though. That's what my core practice would be, and civil stuff I do, sometimes. Akira says men should countersue because if they're going for equal, men aren't getting the benefits. No, they got taken. The men got taken in this one. WH Asian says your unbiased facts of this case videos are the best on all of YouTube. Keep up the great work, Nate. Thank you so much. Hey man, I try, but you know how it is. You know how this YouTube game is. Last super chat before we get back to it. Oh yeah, and they're talking about this might be going to the NBA. 2 people. They're talking about the WNBA maybe trying to split too, so maybe it might work. The U.S. men's national team best World Cup finishers 3rd place in 1930. So it's hard to argue that they're going to lose 38 million if they can ever get there. Oh no, but let's not forget though. See, the problem is, Kate, is that if the men make it to, let's say, was it the round of 16, or let's say the final 4, or something they could do, the final 8, they would have made more than the women if the women won it. I think they make something like what? They would have been almost like $4 or $5 million, while the women, for winning the whole thing, would only be at 2. So if in that case, the men don't have to win the World Cup to out earn the women. They just got to make it to like the round of 16 or something like that, and then they out earn the women. So then after that, they're just losing money, right? By making it, qualifying, and making it. I think what was it? Matter of fact, you know what? I'm glad you even you super chatted this. This was actually good. Hold on. I'm going to show you. I just had this pulled up too. I'm glad you said you did this. So this is the so I'm about to play a video for you guys. Actually, I'm going to play my video. And this is ABC News, and I think it'll probably be easier for them to explain. It's a quick little 2-second thing. Let me share this screen. This is for you, Kate, because I love you and I got time. All right, Chrome tab. Nope. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. This is for you. I got to add in 5 seconds. I hope I missed the ad. All right, here we go. Woof. All right. Here's ABC News.
Alleging that the pay was so skewed that when the men's team's paid.
Well, this is here we go.
A quarter of what the U.S. men's team would have been paid for the same feat. Kenneth Gregg, CBS News, New York.
The lawsuit also highlights pay discrepancy at the World Cup, alleging that the pay was so skewed that when the men's team lost in round 16 of the World Cup in 2014, they received bonuses totaling more than $5 million.
So Kate, just so we're clear, so the men making it to the round of 16, they got $5 million. $5 million. They didn't win it. They just made it to the round of 16. They got 5,375. That's what they got. That's what we know. What did the women get for winning the World Cup? They're going to tell us.
The following year, when the women won it all, they received less than $2 million.
So just to be clear, when the women won it all, they got less than $2 million. Now this year, it was more, right? The women got, well, the last time around, the women got $2 million, and the men would have gotten $6 million if they went to the round of 16. So the men don't got to win it all. The men just got to qualify and go to the one round up, and they out earn the women. So the only people losing in this deal is the men. Those are the numbers right there. Men make it to the round of 16, $5 million. Women win it all, $2 million. Those are just facts. Those are just hard facts. If I'm speaking truth to you, let me know. So yeah, if you come challenge the cashier, I'm gonna hit you with the receipts. So that is what we're looking at. So yes, so the men's team is getting raked over the coals with this. There's no way to even spin it. There's no way to spin it. Thanks for the $5 super chat, Kate. There's no way to spin this. There's no way to spin this, right? There's just no way to spin this. So, and for those who super chatted, thank you. I really appreciate it. It really helps support the channel. So let me go and let you guys understand. I got to take you guys on a little journey, because there's gonna be people here who not gonna understand. Like they're gonna be like, Nate, you just read the stuff and we don't understand nothing. So I gotta kind of take people on a journey to let people know where we were at, and to let people know where we're going. So let me take them on. Let's go on this ride. So this slide is how FIFA's money had broken down in the last World Cup cycle, the one that we just recently went through. So as you can see, total prize money for the country that wins. If you were in a men's World Cup, it's $400 million. If you're the women's World Cup, $30 million. Not even 10%. The prize money for the winning team for the men's World Cup, $38 million. For the women's World Cup, it's $4 million. Now, no matter what you feel, that's a big difference. That's a big difference, right? 38-4, that's a big difference. Hold on, let me grab this. So 38-4, that's where we at. right. Dave, where are you at? I see your chat, but I don't think I have a highlight. Let me make sure I got you, Dave. Yeah, gotcha. All right. Oof. Almost lost the super chat right there. Sorry, guys. All right. So, winners prize money 38 million, 4 million for the Women's World Cup. When we talk about revenue, 5.36 billion. We're not talking millions here, people. We're talking about billion to 131 million. Now, I'm going to say it. Some reports say it's 300 million. Some reports say 131 expected. You know what? Let's range it from 100 million to 500 million. It's still a lot less than 500 billion, right? So that's what we're talking about. Ticket sales, 2.7 billion to about a billion or a little bit over a billion, and to a million. And then we have just straight up global audience. Half the world population watches the Men's World Cup, about a billion for the Women's World Cup. So these are just the facts, right? I'm just laying out. These are just stone cold hard facts. This is just what it is. But let's look at the revenue again. So the revenue, the money coming in to pay people money, right? That's the money. You got to get money in to send money out. Here, we're talking about 2.5%. The Women's World Cup generates 2.5% of what the Men's World Cup generates. Okay. I know you're going to say, Nate. It could be higher. So let's make it 7%, 7.5. Let's triple this number, right? 246, make it 7%, 7.5%. Right? Let's just make it 7.5%. Just because I'm a fair guy. So, what does that leave us? That still gets us here to the prize money, right? So, between the men's team and the women's team, the problem is that the men can earn up to 38 million and the women can only earn up to 4 million. So think about this. I'm sending 2 employees out to 2 separate tournaments. We can say basketball tournament, soccer tournament. Hey, we can say typing tournament. It doesn't matter. I send one person out to a tournament that he can win $38 million. Then I send another guy out to a tournament where he can only win $4 million. They both win. Come back, and I pay them equally. That's not fair to the guy who won the $38 million tournament, right? Why should he be punished, right? Why should the person who's making $4 million, who only won for the $4 million tournament, why should they get half the other guy's money? Right? That's what we're talking about. But the women said, we're suing because we want equal pay. We know we can only make 4 million. We know the men can make 38 million, but we want to be paid like the men. We want to be paid 38 million for winning a $4 million tournament. This is the logic. Let me go to some super chats. Dave says, Dave, you made me look for your super chat, Dave. Dave says, they are pooling resources and dividing them in half. Sounds more like division of community, property, and a divorce. That's true. That is division of property and divorce. This is the most expensive harpy screech in the last 100 years. Uh-oh, Dave. Dave is cruel. Kate, the U.S. men's soccer team best World Cup finish was 1930. We read this and we talked about this. You made me pull up that video. I love you for it, Kate, though. Thanks. And keep challenging me. Make sure it keeps me honest. Nate, all I can say is that the men's team did it to themselves. They elected to give away their own money. Facts. And 0% comes out of my pocket. Britt, so true. It's so true. I might think it's dumb, but until they spend my money, I'm going to say, okay, you do you. Okay, yeah, of course. But we could talk about it. Thanks for the super chat, Britt. I think you're 100% correct. It's crazy. This is crazy. All right. So let's continue. So now, for you to get a real full understanding of this combined deal or which has happened, we got to talk about the contract, right? So I got to let you know how the contracts were different before, so you can know how they're. I got to let you know how the contracts were before we talk about how they've changed, right? That just makes sense, right? I can't just go and talk about the new contract without letting you know how the contract was before, and you can say, "Oh, okay, this is how it changed." So let's talk about it. The men were essentially hired guns. Their contract was they get paid cash, they got no guaranteed money, and no benefits. You put cash in my pocket to play. That's it. If I don't play, I get nothing. If I play, we good. You pay me. If I don't, I get nothing. That was their deal. Period. Hands down. High risk, high reward. The women's team. Their deal, they got paid less. Where the men got paid this, they got paid less. But why? Because their money was guaranteed. The women got guaranteed money. That's right. And benefits. We can read through them. First two lines are the salaries that they were guaranteed. Next line. One-time sign-in bonus of $230,000. Guaranteed. Ticket sharing revenue, right? $5,000 bonuses for first place in these tournaments. Severance package, injury insurance, health benefits, dental, vision, pregnancy pay, guaranteed rest time, blah, blah, blah. All of that they got. On top of the cash. Guaranteed. Now, just understand, guaranteed money is guaranteed money, right? Men, no guarantee, women guarantee. So, where does that leave us? So now you understand the two deals. Now you understand the two deals. So, when you take all this into account and you add it up and you say, how much did the men make and how much did the women make? Because that's what we got to do. We got to take both of what we see here and add them up and give them a dollar figure, right? So all these benefits and guaranteed money, how much is all that? And versus how much is all that? And then, how much did each team make, right? Because we're suing for equal pay. And the claim was by the women's national team was we're being paid less than the men just because we're women. So the court said, let's add all it up then and see how much compensation you earned versus how much compensation you earned. Fair. All right, so the court did that. And this is what the court found. Total pay. The women were paid more. And if you want to do it by per game basis, right, per game, the women were paid more. So they went to court talking about they were being paid less and actually were being paid more. Here it is in the court document. Literally, this is pulled from the court document. What page is that? Page 16 of 32. That's where you'll find this at, the bottom of the page. The court does a calculation right there. See? Men's national team, 18 million. Says women totaled approximately $24 million the average. I took these numbers right from the court documents. Facts. Right? Some people on the chat probably hate this fact, but this is a fact of reality. The court found this as a matter of fact. They got paid more. So the court then had to understand, well, let's look at both the upside and downside of the contract. Well, in other words, what's the most both contracts can make and what's the worst they can do, right? So the max that each contract could make, the women were kind of capped at about $6 million, and that includes your full benefits package, right? So you got $6 million full benefits, while the men could make up to $15 million plus, right? So they can make a lot more than the women. They can make 15 million, and women can really only make about 6-7 million, right? Because their money is guaranteed. So they're taking less money. So this is what everybody's screaming about, right? This is what the news media is screaming about. Look, the men can make 15 million, the women can only make 6. Unequal. But you also have to look at the downside of the contract, because this max is the upside, right? This is how much we can make. This is the upside. Let's look at the downside. What's the downside of this deal? Well, the downside is the men, since they have no guaranteed nothing, their contract could be worthless. It can be zero, right? There could be no games. And the women, if there are no games, they still get $3 million plus full benefits. So the women can't lose in this deal. Matter of fact, the worst they can do is $3 million plus benefits. That's what guaranteed money means, right? That's what it means to have guaranteed money, right? Do you guys understand that? Guaranteed money. That's what that means. That's crazy. Right? Now, you would say, well, Nate, people will say, well, Nate, the men will never win the World Cup. And then they'll say, on the other side, they'll always play games. Not always. Not always. See, that's where you're mistaken. The men could go luck up and win the World Cup. And there could be a situation where they don't play any games. Like situation that happened 2 years ago. It's called COVID-19. And during COVID-19, all the games were canceled. Oh no! All the goddamn games were canceled. All the games were canceled. My God. So if all the games were canceled and I got a deal that's not guaranteed, what does that mean for me? Right? What does that mean for me? All games canceled because of coronavirus. What does that mean for me if I don't have a guaranteed deal? Your deal is guaranteed. You're going to get paid. The men's team is not. What does that mean for me? Well, since for the men, it's easy. You ain't got nothing, no guaranteed money, no benefits. You don't play, you don't get paid. You get nothing. That's it. Ball game. Do not pass go. Do not collect the 100. You get nothing. You get a handshake. Thanks for playing. Get the hell out of here. Matter of fact, you better be helping. I'm not asking you for money because I don't owe you nothing. Your money's not guaranteed. But the women, fortunately for them, had 100% guaranteed money coming in. Guaranteed money. So we take in those $100,000 salaries that are guaranteed, the $62,000 salaries that are guaranteed, and the full benefits, and that turns into $3 million plus full benefits guaranteed during COVID. That's a pretty great deal. Well, the men got nothing. Right. Guaranteed. It's a beautiful deal. The women got paid during COVID. The men didn't get paid. These are facts, people. I know some people are going to be out there, oh my God, this is so hard. These are facts. Let me get these super chats going down. All right. Brett, I still love this one. Thanks, because you're right. They did this to themselves. And people can give away their money whenever, however they want. So I'm not hating on the men's team. I just I wouldn't have done it. This is the same as the wage gap. People aren't looking at all of the facts. They cherry pick what suits what they believe. That's true. And again, I have no hatred to the women's team. If people are dumb enough to want to just give you extra money, then fine. Hey, get it if you can get it. But U.S. Soccer, actually, it's the men's team because U.S. Soccer really didn't give up anything either. It's the men's team. Give up your money. This one says, $4.99 says, could a new federation with no women's team poach the men from U.S. Soccer with a promise to give them what they win? How hard is it to join FIFA? I don't know. I'm assuming there's got to be some serious tight rules because FIFA's a real big money thing. So I know U.S. Soccer is a not-for-profit, but I don't know. I'm leaving U.S. Soccer. I don't know how it works. That's a damn good question. I would like to know how it works. Men getting paid by clubs. Yes, men do get paid by clubs, but it's just like Kate. We gotta go through this again, Kate. All right. I believe you're right. Men are paid by their clubs. So I'll explain it like this. Just imagine you have two jobs. Job A is at McDonald's. And at that job, they pay you $10 an hour in full benefits. Then you got a second job at Burger King. I go to Burger King and they offer me a job. They say, hey, Nate, you could take the $10 an hour and benefits, or you could take $20 an hour and get no benefits. Now, I know I already got benefits from McDonald's, right? My benefits is set. I got $10 in benefits over there. Do I need double benefits or do I need extra cash? I'm going to take the cash here. But now let's say I'm there at my second job in Burger King, and the employees start getting mad and say, Nate, you should be paid $10 an hour like us because you working at Burger King. I mean, at McDonald's. You over there working at McDonald's too. You got a second job at McDonald's. My response to that is, I don't care. Well, my second job doesn't matter about what happens here at this job. You can't say because I'm getting paid at McDonald's that they should pay me less at Burger King. That don't make no sense. That's exactly what this is here. Because they're working at someplace else, that means they can get paid less at their second job. No, it don't work that way. Right? But is there anybody in here who expects that argument to be valid? I work, let's say, for instance, the NBA. Well, not even the NBA. Even in this situation, a man works. He plays for an MLS team. He should be paid less if he works for U.S. Soccer as a second job because he worked. No, pay him what he's worth. That's capitalism. I don't know, foreign concept sometimes. So yeah, so just getting paid by your club. This. I don't think this is anything for the conversation. $10, Nate. This might be off topic, but what happens if the players that sued the women's team don't get called up to the team? Nothing. It's a collective bargain. It's a union. It's a union thing. Will they still get full benefits and pay? Yes, but again, we haven't looked at the new deal. The old deal. If you're not called up, we got to look at the new deal. I'll tell you about the new deal. The new deal is important with this question. So, I'm gonna keep it here so I can answer it when we talk about the new deal, because that's a good question. Everyone, please like the video. Oh, thank you, Change for Life. Thank you. Please like this video. Let the algorithm chew it up. Thank you though. Thank you for that. Here is a $10 one. Have the U.S. Men's National Team collective bargaining team commented as to why they feel this benefits their group. Aren't they meant to do the best for their group they are bargaining for? Yes, but the men, don't forget the men's national team. They can say, hey, we're just we're gonna sign this deal. We want to give this money away. They can do that, and if they do, it is what it is. But they can definitely give that money away. So that's what they're choosing to do. They're choosing to give this money away, which is their right. No hatred on them, but I wouldn't do it, but they did it. Oof. So let's move on. So just to show you, this is what was going on. The judge here explains. He called the women's soccer team out. He called them out here, and you can read this later. Just pause the video and read this. But essentially, he's saying the women were asking for all the upside of the deal, all of the upside, and none of the downside. Matter of fact, you know what? I'll read it. First time the U.S. women's national team requested bonuses equivalent to those received by the men's national team was in January 2016. The United States Soccer Federation rejected that proposal. However, because the women's national team was not asking for a pay-to-play agreement similar to the men's national team's collective bargaining agreement, instead, this is the key point, instead, It was asking for all the upsides. Remember, we were talking about upsides of the men's national team's CBA, higher bonuses. So they said we want the 15 mil. We want all the big bonuses, right? Without any of the drawbacks, no base salary. So they wanted to keep the base salary. We want $100 men, but we want all the upsides, but none of the downsides. In May 2016, the United States Soccer Federation offered the women's national team a pay-to-play proposal similar to the men's deal, right? So here, you take a deal like the men's deal. But the women's national team rejected it, preferring an agreement that involves some elements of guaranteed compensation. It's page 932 from the ruling, in case you want to read it for yourself. So the judge called them out. Judge said, you want all the upsides and none of the downsides, but they ain't enough money for that. And that's just not how this works. So that's the judge called them out. So the judge said, hey, this is a deal, how the deal looks now, but you really want this deal. You want to keep all those benefits, keep all that cash, but double your salary, right? Saw right through it. No, that's not how this works. And dismissed their case. You're getting paid more. You agreed to the deal. You rejected the men's deal. And the only thing you want is the upsides and none of the downsides. Your case is dismissed. That's what happened. Those are the facts, people. Those are the facts. This is the doc. Here's the documents. Everything you need to find the documents right there. That's what happened. I'm just giving you the facts. Don't kill the messenger. $10 from Bradley. This is more PR than anything real. The prior judge proved almost identical amount per game previously. You just missed the earlier presentation. This is a creative way for not much real change. Men aren't already going to get better. I can't read. Men aren't suddenly going to get better. I agree. Sorry, I'm reading all poorly now. Wonder who of the men agreed. I don't know. Or were pushed to this deal. I don't know. I wouldn't have agreed to this deal. I don't know. I gotta pull a poll in chat because I don't know. I just don't know. It just doesn't make sense why anybody would agree to this. But they do. Ooh, let me go continue on. Sorry. I got distracted. So after this case was dismissed, U.S. women's soccer, they appealed. And that appeal was scheduled. But then what happened? Then out of nowhere, U.S. soccer settled, paid them $24 million in back pay, which we already heard about. Okay. So then that deal was contingent on both teams signing a new collective bargaining agreement. So the two issues that the collective bargaining agreement had to address is the guaranteed money versus pay to play and the World Cup prize money, right? Because you had the World Cup prize money, how are we going to divvy that up? 4 million versus 38, and the guaranteed money versus the pay to play. Women were guaranteed money, men were not guaranteed. You had to fix that too. So do you go both, do both sides go, no guaranteed money and just high bonuses, or do both sides, take a little take benefits and cash and are fully guaranteed? What's better? Because you're talking about equal pay, right? So even when you talk about FIFA prize money, which is next, 30 million to 400 million, that's a huge difference in prize money between the men and the women's team. It's just so much. And it's interesting because this is where now we're going to go to U.S. Soccer's fact sheet. So they'll explain to us how this deal, now we're going to go to U.S. Soccer's fact sheet, because now you've known how the new deal, how the old deal works, how everything's working out, and the two issues that we need to explore for the new deal, how to make it work. Let's see what the new deal is, since you now have a understanding of what the old deal was. So this is what they've agreed to. So this is U.S. Soccer's website, and this is their collective bargaining fact sheet. So first they do this story, equality, and opportunity. So here are what they're calling the 4 key aspects. They equalize the FIFA prize money. First in the world, the women and men national team are going to pool the money and share it. So they're going to put all that money together and split it down the line 50-50. So in the remember in that article, where they said that U.S. soccer, remember in that article, remember in the video when they said that they're going to pool the money together? This is U.S. soccer saying that they're going to pool that money together. So here is their collective bargaining agreement fact sheet, and this is what they're saying. So they're pulling the money together and splitting it down to identical appearance fees and game bonuses. That's what they're going to do here. So this is what they're doing for everyone. And now, which I think is important here, the women's national team will no longer have guaranteed salaries and will instead have the same pay-to-play structure as the men. So the women's national team did give up something. They gave up guaranteed money. So if COVID hits again, they're screwed. They get nothing. Right? But they gave up guaranteed money. So that's what the women gave up. So we're checking off boxes. Women gave up guaranteed money. They're on a pay-to-play now too. What did the men give up? Let's see. So, deal is good through December 28th. So, this is how they're going to equalize the prize money. This year's Men's World Cup and next year's Women's World Cup, they're going to take the prize money and add it all together and pay the men and the women 90%. U.S. Soccer takes 10%. So, they're going to split it 50-50. So if the men and women win, this is going to be tough for the men. They're going to give up a lot of money. But even if the men make it to the round of 16, the round of 16 for the World Cup pays more. Pays what? Pays about triple. With the women's World Cup makes for the winner. So if the men make it to the round of 16, you're talking about $6 million about. If the women win it all, you're talking about what, $2 million? So the men don't got to win the World Cup to outperform the women, right? They just got to make it to the round of 16. And they've already tripled what the women are going to make and have to split their extra with the women. So that's what we're talking about here. So if the men make it to the round of 16, they're giving out millions of dollars. They don't got to win it to give up millions of dollars. People think they got to win it all. No. They just got to make it to a late round. And they're screwed. Millions of dollars are coming out their pocket. And then the next round, the next World Cup round, U.S. Soccer takes 20% instead of the 10. They equalized everything. Non-World Cup prize money. So everything is equal. Fine. We're giving everything equal, right? Game bonuses. They've even changed that up. So everything is equal. Now you get appearance fees of eight grand. You get nothing for losing, but you get at least the the appearance bonus. You get a bonus for winning. Same thing like last time, except everything is exactly identical. You get some revenue sharing here, which is good, right? You make the net amount of $75 million and you get 15%, which is nice. So they got ticket sharing, sellout bonuses. So both teams are getting a little bit more money, which is all good. Let me make sure. I think I missed this one. Yep, I got it. And working conditions. They do all working conditions, all accommodations are the same. So everything is equal. Everything is equal. But now, the problem is, people, I'm going to put myself on screen so you can see me. The problem is, I read the whole document. See, everything up here is totally equal. Hey, everything is equal. But someone like me, I read everything, and we're going to the bottom, right? So we've just gone through it all, right? I've already read this, and we're going to go to the bottom. And this is where you'll see the discrepancies, the problems. Let me stop using it and pull it up. So right here, it says additional benefit for both men's national team and women's national team, right? Because we're talking about everything being equal. So there's a new retirement fund for both men's and women's national teams. Good thing, 401ks. Then we got childcare. Now, remember before, childcare was exclusively really for the women's team because the men's team didn't get so. The men's team got childcare. During senior national team training camps and matches, U.S. Soccer will provide childcare for both teams. Wow. As it has for the women's national team for 25 years. So this is something they've already had, right? They're not losing. Hey, great. Childcare and retirement. Great. But remember, we haven't heard about one thing. See, all the women were getting all their benefits. Remember the dental benefits. Remember the vision insurance. Remember all that insurance, health insurance, all that. That's what the women were getting. So did they give up all that? No. Hidden at the bottom of the document with no details is benefits exclusively for guess who? Guess who, people? Who are these benefits for? Are they for both? Is this what both teams get? No. This is just benefits for the women's national team. Now, at first, it looks like they're insignificant, right? It's just like 3 little boxes here. First thing, parental leave. Maybe a big number, may not be a big number, who knows? But then we get to the big hitters. Insurance benefits, right? We talking about, now remember the insurance benefits they had before. Health insurance, life insurance, blah, blah, blah. All those insurances, they got dental, vision, blah, blah, blah. There they are. Insurance benefits. Hidden in the one nice little box. They don't tell us all the benefits. They just put insurance benefits, right? We're not going to notice. Men's team aren't getting those benefits. Women's team only. Short-term disability benefits. Only for the women's team. Men's team don't get any short-term disability benefits. So what they did was, remember earlier when I showed you that box with all the benefits listed? They just took all those benefits and squished them and put them into that box and called them insurance benefits. So essentially, when you look at this deal, essentially what we got is the women's team got to keep all those benefits, right? They got to keep they gave up one thing, guaranteed money. They said, we're going to give up the guaranteed money. But they kept all their benefits, right? All those benefits they kept and got half of the men's money. Beautiful deal if you can get it, right? They gave up just for giving up the guarantee. If the men make it to the World Cup, they have cheering for the men. They make it to round 16 of the World Cup. The women have just made millions. As a matter of fact, the women are going to make more money than they've ever made before with this deal. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Steven says, idea. Everyone watched the women's national team, men's national team take a vacation on field after the 16th qualify. Still getting paid more, but doing less. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So the women's team actually got everything they wanted. They got everything they wanted. It was total victory. And again, no hate on the women's team. If you can do it, you can do it. You know, I'm just not going to be fooled by it. So when it came to equalization of the prize money, this is what they did. You get 38 million to 4 million. They just combined it, 42 million. Let's say if both teams win, and then split it. So the men can possibly lose 17 million bucks, and the women are going to gain that 17 million bucks if they both win. But I don't believe the men's team is going to win. But the men's team don't got to win to lose millions of dollars. They can just make it to the round of 16. This is if they both win. What about the identical appearance fees, right? That's where they get that. And since the women are giving up the guaranteed money, so they're giving up the guaranteed money, but the women still get all of the benefits. So at the end of the day, women really didn't give up really anything except for the guarantee. They got more money and they kept all their benefits. Now, what's the guarantee worth? Well, if COVID happens again, you're in trouble. But that's a once in a generation event, right? That's a once in a generation event. Seems like the women's national team got a marriage deal. Half the men's stuff with benefit. You are ruthless. That was a ruthless. That was a ruthless super chat. So now I do want to make this very clear. I got no hate for the women's team. Hell, I think their attorneys did a fantastic job at getting them to this point. I was the last them out the room. Really, you're already getting paid more. Get the hell out of here. Come on. You are getting paid more. Really? What are you doing inside here? Come on. Right? That's what I would have thought. But if you make the argument and the other side wants to pay you for it, no shade. You get yours. But in terms of legal analysis and what this means, do we see the WNBA making the same move? And the NBA players saying, okay, we'll give up half our money? I don't know. I do think for the men's national team, maybe it's the fact that they do play with the professional clubs. Maybe they feel they can give up the 17 or, the top played stars are soccer stars, so soccer players. So maybe they just feel like, hey, we'll give up this millions of dollars to make this point. Maybe that might be it. But those are first world problems. Chunky Monkey says, "You can show the money both. Can you show the money both teams would have pooled using past records, as if the deal was 10 years ago?" Okay, let's do this. Let's. You might have to do this as a thought experiment. Matter of fact, no, I think I can. Can I? Yeah, you know what I can do. Let's do this a little. Let's have some fun. Since we're going to do it this way. All right. I'm gonna do this lead attorney style. I don't know if you guys know the lead attorney. That's my brother, my brother from another mother. But he's also a YouTube attorney, so he's a good guy. All right, so she showed me we're gonna do this. We're gonna go in. We're gonna do this. Okay. So let me add this to stream. Okay, so this is just a blank Word document. So let's go. Let's do what it would have been. Not last year because the men didn't qualify, so they wouldn't have gotten anything. We'll go to 2 years ago when the men made it to the round of 16. So we saw in the news that when the men rated, and this was in 2015, 20, I think it was 2016, 2017, 2017. I'm not sure. Those are 4 years. Whatever the year was. But back then, I believe the men made 502, I think call it 275. That's how many million they made. Five and like a quarter million. And the women for winning the World Cup made like 175. There we go. That's how much the women would have made. That would have been back then. That's what the women would have made. So, and this, let me make sure this is the men's World Cup, and this is the women's World Cup. Women's, you see. We know in 2017. So now if we just add all that together, is it 5275 plus 1750? That's 7 million. 7 million. What is it? Lawyers in their math. 70.27025. That's what we're talking about. 7 million. A little bit more than 7 million. So this is our big money. We divide that by 2. And let me get my trusty calculator. divided by 2. That's 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, 2. Sure. Let's calc at 35125. 35125. So using the numbers from 2016-2017 cycle, the men, instead of getting $5 million, they would have gotten 3.5 million, and the women would have gotten 3.5 mil. So the women would have been up. That's the difference. So the men would have lost a little over $1 million, and the women would have gained some cash, a couple of million, about almost 2 million. Oof, this is so small too. I gotta play this up so you guys can see it. So that's what we're talking about. And then if you just do the math here, even though now you guys are making me do math, 5 minus the 3512500. So the men's team would have lost $1.7 million, exactly what the women's thing paid, what the Women's World Cup paid. So they would have lost 1.7. So they would have essentially doubled the women's earnings at that World Cup cycle. That's what would have happened. They would have doubled the women's earnings in that World Cup cycle. So so if this deal was in place back then, the men's team would have, they would have took a serious hit. That's a serious hit. So that's what the men's team is giving up, at least. And that's only if they, and again, just to be clear, this is not if they win it. This is just if they make it to the round of 16, right? Because that's what we were doing. We were doing the math on the round of 16. Back in that cycle, the men only went to the round of 16. They didn't win it, and they got 5.25 mil. So just imagine this year it's going to be more. It would have been crazy. It'd have been crazy. So, you know, I honestly, what do people feel? Do you just think U.S. Soccer just folded to the public pressure? Well, it's actually not even U.S. Soccer who folded, right? It's not even U.S. Soccer who folded. That was it was the men's national team that folded, because U.S. Soccer stayed firm. They were like, we're not paying this. You got to get some idiots to pay it, and they're like, well, we got the U.S. men's national team. Let's see what they can do. If the women's national team makes it and the men's national team don't, do the men's national team still get their share of the women's national team prize money? No, because there's nothing. You get paid only if you make it and you win it. So you don't get any money. The women's national team took the deal because they know the men's national team already made it. Yeah. And I'm assuming the men's national team it's just by making it and just advancing anything in one round, they've already made more than the women's national team would make for winning the whole tournament. So, so the men are already behind the 8 ball. But it's it is what it is. It is what it is. And again, like I said, I got no hard feelings to the women's national team. If you can find a fool to pay it, and they're happy to pay it, then hey, men's national team, it's their money to give away, and it's the women's right to take it if the men are giving it away freely and legally. That's kind of what it is. So, but let me know in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this whole deal. At the end of the day, this case, unfortunately, was one of those things where this was not about equal pay at all. It just wasn't. It wasn't. This case, they're going to promote it as an equal pay case, and they're going to promote it as there's some type of watermark moment in society. But it's not. It was never that. What it was hey, we see a moment, an opportunity here to take advantage of a public who wants to do the right thing. We're going to take advantage of a public who wants to right wrongs in the past. And there's been times when women have been treated unfairly. And we want to make sure that that's not happening here. And there's a correction in the market, right? And I think here, it was easy to say, but then when you look at the numbers and you look at everything, it's like, it's not really what it's told. And it's the same thing with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. I don't know if you guys will be watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff, but it's the same thing. The same thing. We want to do the right thing. We want to believe women who say they are abused. We want to be able to help them. We want to put away offenders. But wanting to be helpful, but not being diligent enough to do your homework, to look at the facts, to evaluate things properly, leads to mistakes and can actually be harmful to people, right? Johnny Depp, for whatever reason, seems that the story that was being told about him and his ex-wife wasn't as accurate as most people thought it was. Now, most people think it was the exact opposite. The same thing, I think, here in terms, but I think this is a little bit more obvious, right? Where you have a judge who looks at the facts, lays it all out, puts it out to the public. Hey, listen, this is not what this is. Matter of fact, they made more. Think about that. And I think people need to really understand that. Think about this. The women's national team made more money. They went and court screaming with discrimination. Just like, what are you talking about? You made more money. Nobody's discriminating against you. You made more money. What are you talking about? Oh, well, we want even more. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. You can't just come and say we want more money. We would have made more money. Well, you would have made less too, right? You get guaranteed money. What are you talking about? Get out of here. Case dismissed. They kept the pressure on now. Judge's bias. He's a man. U.S. Soccer's got all the money. And you know what? And no matter, you got to give it up to U.S. Soccer too. You got that was a pickle they had to get their way out of, because public relations was horrible. And on top of that, they didn't have the money to pay. They of course they don't have the money to pay this out, right? How the hell are they going to pay this out? They don't have the money to pay this out. They're dependent on FIFA. So the only way they could do this is if they got, unfortunately, the men's national team to say, hey, listen, you guys got to give up millions of dollars to help our PR stuff. And the men's national team says, where do we sign? We're ready to give up the money. 2028. I can answer this one real quick. When's the contract expire? 2028. They're doing it through 2 cycles. I don't know if it goes past 2 cycles though, because that's going to be a tough contract to make any money off for U.S. Soccer, because you're paying out a lot. Oh yeah, I answered this one already. Let me take down Colette. Candace Parker should be paid as much as LeBron James. Kyle, that's where we're going with this. And when does the contract expire? We just answered that one too. So people, I'm going to have the more condensed version of this video, so you guys don't have to go through the whole 1 hour and 8 minutes. But I think it's just interesting how after all this time, after the facts in this case, that the women's team and it's got to be something said for tenacity, right? They took a case that was worth nothing, where they were getting paid more, with the better contract, right? Everything was running on their side. They went to court, screamed discrimination. The court said, you're joking. This is garbage. Threw it out. And they still were able to put the pressure on U.S. Soccer and the men's national team to pay them money, to pay them more money. To think about how crazy this is. They were able to put pressure on the men's U.S. Soccer and the men's national team to pay them more than they were already making, because at the point in time, they're making more money. So it's crazy. The women's national team is already making more money than the men's national team, and now it's going to make even more because of public pressure. Welcome to America. So if you guys like what I do and like what I said, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. And hopefully this video you learned something. And I'll say at the end of the day, we're still going to go through these cases like this. We're still going to be looking at the facts. And no matter how you feel about this U.S. Soccer story, it's probably very, very good that I think this happened, because one thing, it at least lets you know 2 things. Number one, it lets you know that the facts can be found out there, right? I'm just really regurgitating what's in the court documents. And if you really want to know the truth about these stories, sometimes you got to dig a little deeper. And as long as I'm here, if I'm covering the story, I'll be doing the digging. So with that said, my name is Nate the Lawyer. Oh my, Kate's back. Hey, Kate. I see Kate Compton. Hey, Kate, how you doing? I've missed you I haven't seen you around in a while. It's always good to see you, Kate. All right, guys, I'm going to see you next time. Peace. In broadcast.